Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. I am so excited. It has been beautiful, summery weather out, and the long range forecast shows nothing even getting close to frost or freezing. So I am gonna put out some of my flowers. Now, a lot of these I'd planned to put out this time of year or even earlier. I've added in a few other plants that are a little more tender, but I think we'll be just fine given the forecast here. And these planters here that I have on my deck, I can easily pop a towel or a blanket or something over if I need to, or even just remove right from the deck and put inside if we do get some more seasonal cold nights. For now, it's looking like it's safe to put this stuff out, and so I'm just gonna go for it. It was a long winter and I just need some color. So I'm gonna go through quickly what I have here, and then I'm just gonna get planting. I have 3 planters here, and they're all going to be planted the same. And I'm going to be planting some sweet peas in the back of these planters here. This one is called Cupid. It says it's supposed to be a rose pink color, and it's supposed to get about 20 centimeters tall. That would be about 8 inches. I was thinking I might put these sweet peas at the back here on these trellises, but now that I'm looking at the height more carefully on these, I think the cabbage that I have in the back will outcompete them. So I was going to put a few in the front, and I'll just put a few in the front just to hang down and just be kind of a spiller. So after the sweet peas, this is a double flowering cabbage in the back here, and I'm going to try and get all the purple. I have a mixed variety. Some are kind of more white tones with the green, and some are this more kind of deep purpley pink color, and I'm going to try and get all the deep purple pinks in these planters here. So I grew that from seed. All of these plants actually, none of these are purchased. So then I have some Dusty Miller. This is Silver Dust Dusty Miller. It's looking really good. So I'll put one of those on either side of the cabbage. And I have some Shockwave Purple petunias. So they don't look like much right now, but nice big healthy petunias. And I have one on either end of these planters, and they should really fill in and hang over the edges and really give some oomph to the sides of these planters. And then along the kind of what I'm calling the middle row here, I have some ranunculus. Now these should have gone out a long time ago, but like I said, we just had really, really cold late winter, early spring. So they can handle a lot of cold, but not that much. So I have 3 of those. So I have 1, 2, 3 ranunculus, and then I have lobelia here. I have lots of lobelia that I grew from seed. Some was seed I purchased, and some was seed I had saved that I had labeled as bacopa, but it all came up as lobelia. So we'll get those in here. So I have 1 on either side of the center ranunculus, and then there'll be ranunculus on the other side. And then I'm going to try and tuck in these Ipomea sweet potato vines. I think this was key lime. That might not be right. I'll try and see if I can find the tag. I'd overwintered the root from a sweet potato vine last year that I had, and then I sprouted it this spring, late winter, and that's what these plants are from. So they're looking a little bit rough. I've been hardening them off, and yesterday I set them out on my deck. You can probably see some more out there right now, but I always set them out in the morning close to the front here because this faces north. They get kind of that early morning sun, and then I left town for the day and forgot to move them back into the shade, so they got a little scorched yesterday. They should be okay. So I'm just going to prune off some of these kind of more sunburned leaves here on these plants, and they'll be fine. And then of course, like I said, I'll put a few of those sweet peas right in the front, and hopefully they'll grow up and come down over the edge. So what I did to get these baskets ready is I took out the soil from last year. It had been through at least the entire spring, summer, fall last year, and it might have been some soil from the year before. I couldn't remember. So I just put in fresh soil, and then I added to that soil just some soil moist crystals. They're just a natural moisture absorbing crystal that will then let extra moisture out if the soil gets dry around it. So it just helps with hanging baskets, especially when they have these cocoa fiber kind of liners in them, to just help to keep the moisture level regulated in these. And then I added some blood meal and some bone meal just to kind of release into that soil and give a little extra oomph as it breaks down, and it will feed the plants that way. So when I do these planters up and I put these liners in, I actually line the liner with a good quality heavy landscape fabric before I put the soil in. So if you've had trouble with water just pouring right out of your cocoa lined plants and pots, that's a good tip. Or use a plastic bag, but if it's a plastic bag, make sure you punch a couple of holes in it or slits in it along the bottom, just so some water can come out, or even just about this far up the sides, so that the water isn't just sitting in here and can't get out and gets stagnant and pooling and rots your roots. But that's everything I think I need to tell you about getting the planters ready. I'm just going to get these plants planted, get the seeds for the sweet peas in the front here, and just enjoy having some color in my yard instead of dead plants and brown sticks and things. So I have all three of my planters planted up here, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I don't think I mentioned the ranunculus is a really, it's a spring plant. Usually it will flower for a couple of months in spring, and then it will, when the heat really comes on, it will die back. They will hopefully grow up and flower and do their thing here while the rest of the plants are kind of getting established and putting down roots and putting on size. And then when they're ready to kind of die back, that's when the cabbage and the lobelia, the dusty miller, and the petunias will really start to put on some growth and start to fill in, and hopefully we'll have some sweet peas started to overhang the front by then as well. And they'll kind of fill in that space that the ranunculus abandons there. So I won't actually dig them up until the end of the season, because that would disturb this whole planting, but they'll be fine to just stay in here for the summer. And then once frost has gotten this planter, I can dig it up and pull up those corms and save them for over the winter. But yeah, I think this should be really pretty, just really fill in all around. And these shockwave petunias should get quite a good size on them. So it should really fill in and soften the edges of these planters. I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful in this space here. So this part of my deck is facing north, so these plants will all be getting lots of good morning sun. I have a drip line going through here, so I'll have the drip coming on just for a few minutes every day once I get it set up. Until it's set up, I'll just make sure that these are staying nice and moist, and watering them probably once a day until everything gets really established. And then if they dry out just a little bit between waterings, that's fine, and I'll come in and fertilize. I'd like to say once a week, but it'll probably be twice a month is when I probably remember to actually do it. I'll update you as the season progresses and the plants grow, and we'll see what they turn into and see if this is a combination to keep and repeat another year. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.